said you can bury the workman, but the work will go on. You can silence the voices, but you can't stop the song.
Welcome to Wheeling the Pathways of Life Unplugged with your host, Brain Fitzpatrick. Wheeling the Pathways of Life Unplugged is a snapshot of the day-to-day experiences of disabled individuals as they navigate the world around us. We wish to shed light and open your eyes on a new perspective of people with disabilities. And by going unplugged, we can discuss viewpoints we hope will challenge our viewers' points of view. Most of us have disabilities we must live with, but what defines us is the way we deal with them. And now, here's your host, Brain Fitzpatrick.
Good afternoon, folks. This is Brain Fitzpatrick, bringing you another episode of Wheeling the Pathway of Life. And I have a very special guest and a very important guest here at Pittsburgh Community Television, Matthew Tucker. Good afternoon, Matt.
Howdy, Brian. It's nice to be on the show physically. We've done this over Zoom a bunch of times, so this is different. There's things.
Yeah. There's situations that I can handle prior to the show easier than I can, you and I can, even though it's in passing sometimes, we get together and we hash out difficulties, and you usually point me in the right direction.
I'll certainly try.
No, I mean, you usually have to remind me that's not my job.
That's true.
That's not my job. You were, I can't remember if you took on the role you're in now before the show last time, or?
So, I have been in the position that I'm in now as engagement and experience coordinator for a little over a year.
Okay, so you were just beginning at this point.
Yeah.
And one of your roles is to do the trainings and coordinate the trainings and have the people who are coming want to do a show. You're the person they meet with first thing when they come in the door.
Exactly. Yeah, I have heard myself referred to as sort of the community TV concierge. So, someone comes into the station for the first time and doesn't know what we do as an organization. I'll show them around, show them what facilities we have, discuss with them what they want to do, and connect them with the right steps. Sometimes they want to have something done for them. So in an instance like that, I would connect them with our production services side. More commonly, though, I'm working a lot with our sort of the community production model, what we're doing here.
Yeah.
Your show happens because you as a member of the community said this was important. I want to do this show and talk about these things. And you brought members of the community in to learn how to use everything, and then create a show.
We're working on that as well, bringing people in. And I've got two major projects going that I think we can fit in the next hour or fit in the next 58 minutes or whatever. One of those projects is coming up in July after the 4th of July parade.
Yep.
I'm doing we gotta work on timing and everything, but one of the third Thursdays, I believe, I said I think it was the first one in July that
Yep.
I will be doing a live production via the truck, via the mobile production unit at Thursday.
Yep. And so to sort of expand on what gives that opportunity. So this year we made the decision to try and attend. We weren't able to make the one in May due to it coinciding with our station's big fundraiser, Eats a Pizza. But the remaining third Thursdays, we said we really want to have a presence. We want to be there. We want to be able to show people the equipment that we've got and be able to present ourselves to the community and make a plan to say, yep, we're going to be there and we're going to do something. So the third Thursday in June, it's sort of two-pronged because the first part of it is it's our traditional parade and preview program where I get to sit down with Peter Marchetti, the president of the parade committee. And
also the president of the city council.
Yep. Although that day he's got his parade committee hat on.
Okay.
And we discuss what new and exciting information is coming up about this year's parade. Very often we get to be the place where people hear about the Grand Marshal for the first time. So it's a great traditional show that we do to sort of give people a heads up as to what's coming. And this show is actually a big deal in that training part that you mentioned, because this, over the past couple months for our spring training session, I've been working with a group of 9 members, some of them members who wanted to sort of refresh their skill set, some members who are brand new to our mobile facilities, and some of them who are brand new to the organization, are all coming together to learn how to do programs with our production truck. And their capstone experience for that training is going to be running the truck the night of that June 3rd Thursday.
Yep.
So we've got a program and we've got a thing in June. In July and August, I'm going to be getting in touch with several of our producers, yourself included, and saying, hey, we're going to be at Third Thursday. We'd love for you to come and join us to do a show. So the goal will be that June, presuming we don't get rained out, and with the recent goofy weather, who knows? I don't think anybody was planning on, a massive forest fire causing all sorts of air quality difficulties for weather for this week. But presuming it's a more normal Third Thursday, we'll be able to do the show. If the weather's goofy, then we'll make sure that you're able to do stuff in August, and PCTV will still be there. We'll make it all work.
I'm planning on being there, even though I was trying to walk. I was trying to drive my chair down because I'm right around the corner.
Yeah, you're right nearby.
I'm right nearby, so I'm not gonna bother getting a cab to come, but one of the things that would be nice is we can actually do the community aspect with people just walking by and want to see what the production is like in person.
Yep.
I don't think at that point the truck will be open so people can see inside the truck, but that will not be possible, but at least they'll be able to see what kind of things go on during a production and
yeah, so
stuff like that.
I think what we'll probably do is we will have the door open, depending on how raucous it is outside. If there's a big band and everything and it's disrupting the crew in the truck, maybe we'll have the door closed. But we're dorky like that, where it might be something where we make arrangements to hook a TV up to the video camera that we have mounted in there so that people can see them making the TV show as they're walking by and ask questions and experience, like you're saying, the fact that here these people are making this TV show, but you as a person walking by could also learn how to make a TV show.
Before I go to my first break, because I'm already at that point, we have other opportunities for me in the realm of being an actual crew member, so we can kind of discuss that for a minute now and then carry it into the next.
Sure.
Carry it in the next segment if you want to.
Yeah.
How did the thought? I brought up the thought to you and you said, I have just a plan for you, and your first plan didn't really your first plan didn't really pan out, but the second plan looks like it's going to, depending on how things go.
One of the challenges that exists that I have been sort of navigating in my position is the mixed problem of new producers looking for crew and new crew looking for producers. And it can be tricky because if we have a lot of people who are interested in creating TV shows and volunteering and being involved, but not a lot of people interested in creating the content, then there's a lot of people who don't have anything to do. And they will sort of have that, I guess PCTV doesn't need me, or WTV doesn't need me. I'm going to go find someone else who needs my help. And then the other thing would happen and switch. And now we've got a bunch of people going, hey, I want to make a TV show, but I don't know how to do it, and I don't have any people who are available to help me. And now, okay, I've got to go find this group of people who wanted to make stuff but not come up with the content. So your challenge was sort of iconic of that, because
I could come up with the, sorry man.
No, that's okay.
I could come up with the content. I could come up with know how to do it. It's just being able to physically make things go and finding a position that I can feel like I'm protected member of the crew. And
Yeah. Well, and so the thing that was important as we were trying to find you a good crew fit was a crew that needed some additional assistance and was interested in taking on the challenge of the things that we need to do in order to adapt everything so you're able to contribute to the show. And I thought I had a show that was a good fit, and the people on the show were a great fit, but their crew needs weren't so great. They had everybody they needed, and they were all set. But it just so happened that someone who was on that crew, who volunteers on that crew, has a show that she produces, and said, oh, I'm always looking for crew people. So
we're trying to figure out now where I would fit
yep.
in the crew, but it may even be sitting in the room we're sitting in now.
Yeah.
Looking at the monitor, looking at you in right now, deciding which cameras
Yep.
on when, and because we could get into more of this after the break, but there's a difference between Studio K and Studio A. And Studio K is down the hallway, but I can't really get into Studio A, so we're able to kind of switch things around so Studio A can be transmitted. The signals from Studio A can be transmitted to Studio K, so I can see what's going on in Studio, in the control area, and select the cameras, what's gonna happen. So we're looking at that possibility. And the other thing is, it's very interesting that I've actually grown, even in the past year that you, believe it or not, it's been almost a year since you've been on the show. But I've taken on a lot of roles.
Yeah.
I have so much to invest in some equipment of my own that we may be able to use in the future.
It should be very cool.
When we come back, we'll talk about the extra piece of equipment that you got, so you can add to my share at some point, depending on how the testing goes on the, So, at this point, we will take our first PSA. We'll be right back, folks.
Bless you and keep you. May
Good afternoon, folks. This has been Brian Fitzpatrick. This is Brian Fitzpatrick with Wheeling the Pathway to Life. We're not closing yet.
So you have something to tell me, Brian?
Oops. See, when I'm trying to impress somebody, that's all but but that's the beauty of live television. Let me rewind that. This is Brian Fitzpatrick bringing you another episode of Wheeling the Pathway to Life. And during the break, Matt and I were talking about equipment that we're getting, that I purchased combined with your equipment that you have here. And it looks like we got some pretty exciting possibilities coming up.
Yeah.
That may be reasonable to do. And Matt, you and I talked about this recently, but how difficult is it to use the truck for crew that, let's say, wants to borrow the truck to do a project? And I know you said every 2 weeks notice or whatever. But,
Yeah. So the PCTV mobile unit is one of those neat facilities that I think people can wrap their brain around coming to the station and taking a camcorder out, and people can wrap their brain around coming to the station and being in one of our studios, like Studio K, and doing a show. And it's sort of a lot to wrap your brain around the fact that you're able to also ask us to equip up the mobile unit and go on location and do a production. So the mobile unit is a thing that our members are able to say, hey, I've got an idea for something on location. I'd like to do it. Can we bring the mobile unit? The tricky part about that is the mobile unit requires a lot of planning, because there's a lot of things that you sort of take for granted when you're in a studio space, that just sort of the things work.
Yeah. And to be honest with you, Matt, that is part of the reason why I should say this way. The agency, that's kind of why I got away from the agency part of the show, is the agency's always pushing me to get out in the community and stuff like that, which they have the place in doing. But in this case, I decided, and my crew decided, and you decided that due to the technical hiccups of using Zoom and having people come in, people accidentally coming into shows that shouldn't be coming into shows, which I'll leave it at that. But I mean, that kind of precipitated me to say, okay, it's time to.
And that's exactly right, that there are, even in the modern era where everybody is kind of used to Zoom and video conferencing and being able to transmit video back and forth between each other, there are challenges to having it work nicely for TV. Yeah. And short of any sort of strange technical problems that you get because of Zoom being Zoom, there's just the issue of the fact that no matter what service you're using, you've got to have enough internet bandwidth that is stable to have the signal go through. And everybody's used to being in a Zoom meeting and someone disappears or they freeze or their audio goes goofy.
And then there's one aspect, without getting too close to what happened, but I mean, then you gotta worry about the security aspect on both ends, the studio end and the security aspect on the producer's end that's producing the show from home.
Yeah.
I know I had a couple scary moments when I was trying to do the show live from my house, actually. I've had the police actually walk in. I had the exterminator walk in the middle of the show, kind of asking me questions about the extermination and whether it was done already or not by another member of the extermination crew, and knocking on my door and trying to, the police, I can understand, knocking on the door to ask me a question, and I can't say to them, wait a minute,
I'm on TV right now. Yeah, no, that's sort of unusual. Can I know you're at the door. Can I have you come back in like 20 minutes? I'm live on TV right now.
Chief one would be calling me then. What?
Yeah, probably. Yeah, there are a lot of things that are able to be controlled in a studio environment, and there's a lot of things that are just there. Like the recorders work with the cameras, work with the equipment that chooses which camera is going to be on the air, works with all the microphones. All of that stuff is figured out ahead of time. So when you get there, it just sort of works.
And I remember one time recently I walked in, my ride sort of shows up when it wants to. I was here like an hour and a half before the show. Nobody minded, just come in, do what you gotta do, and
yep.
But I was able to figure out a lot of production stuff and figure out a lot of the different stuff. And I'm using one of the things I started to do, we talked about it in the last segment, but I want to expand on it a little more, is bringing in like crew members for my show, but setting it up so they can potentially go on their own if they want to as well. Mm-hmm. And without giving away a trade secret, which I know it's not a trade secret, but the way we did that is you kept me on individual memberships. And we're kind of combining a group membership and a individual membership at the same time so that people can go on their own.
So one of the neat things about organization and what we do.
Did I put you in a bad spot?
No. Is that, and just to sort of explain what you're describing. Is, so background first, PCTV is a membership-based community media organization. So what that means for people in the community is that the access component of an organization like ours, sort of the fundamental thing that we were created to do in the early days of cable, to let anybody put television programming on the air. A neat thing that anybody can do right now, someone who's listening, if they live in Pittsfield, can take a program that they've produced or that someone else has produced. They can come in, they can record a little opening and closing and say, this is why this show is important, and we will put it on the air. Free of charge, that's it. They just show up and do it, and it's on the air.
Okay.
If someone wants to go above and beyond that and have access to our facilities and learn how to use it and get the support from our production staff, that's where our membership comes in. And we have several different memberships to allow people to access all of that. So we have individual memberships for people just by themselves. We have family memberships for people who live under the same roof. They were originally designed for a more traditional family structure, but there's nothing to say that a group of people living under the same roof who does not have a traditional family structure couldn't have a family membership. And as a matter of fact, you had a family membership for a little bit because your aide, Caitlin, for a long time, because while she didn't live at your house, she was so part of your family unit day in and day out that...
And she was part of the agency that supports me, so...
Yep.
We kind of fit that in as a family dynamic, so that's what's going on. What I mean is we separated the memberships.
Yeah. So there is the membership, there's two other memberships that let multiple people come together and do a show. One of them is an organization membership, which is specifically designed for nonprofit organizations that...
So I couldn't do, technically I could have done that on the UCB if I wanted to, if I was...
If they chose to have you be one of the people who was involved, absolutely.
Okay.
But one of the memberships is a group membership. And the group membership allows up to 5 people. It doesn't matter whether they live in the same house or not, just that they have sort of a common goal. The most common thing that we see for groups are either clubs, where they're really excited about the thing that they do in their club group, and then they want to come to PCTV and produce content about their club, or a show crew, because that is a perfect way for the crew of a show to pool their resources and have a sort of a discounted membership amongst the 5 people to produce the show. So what we were able to do, and it's actually not uncommon for what we've done in the past for other productions, is everyone in the club contributed separately to be able to receive their membership. So you figured out your financial side of things and paid us, and then worked together with the other members of your crew to make sure that the full dues for the membership was taken care of before the due date. So, and that's a really cool possibility for someone who's producing a show to say, let's get everybody on the crew together and have their memberships and be connected as a group.
But one thing you said, and I want people to understand this, is all members of a crew typically need to be I'm just trying to think of a way to say this. All members of the crew eventually have to either become members or just stay on that particular show because you're under one membership on that one particular show. So if you tend to go, if you want to eventually go on your own, the individual memberships, the way I did it, is the best way to go. Because I mean, spending $15 a person, you know, is more affordable for some people than, you know.
Yeah. Well, and that's the reason why the group and the organizational memberships exist.
Yeah.
And the thing that is sort of a misconception that can come up is that the group and the organizational memberships, because they start in the place of either the organization wants to create programming that serves their mission, so they have their people who are on their staff or part of their volunteers to create their show, or the organization, or the group rather, starts as the crew for a specific show. But those memberships are not bound to the show per se. So, and this is something that there's a little bit of an experience with right now with members of your crew. Both of the people who are operating the Studio K programming equipment right now are involved in our mobile production classes. And after this, as members, they'll be able to volunteer and be involved in mobile productions. Or if they want, they can come along and say, I love doing Brian's show, I'm going to keep doing Brian's show, but I've got this other idea that I'm excited about, and I want to do this too.
Yeah.
They can, because they're members, and we're not going to say, you know.
There's no way to, there's no pressure for me to say, I have to be involved in something because they want to be involved in something else.
Right. Well, and the goal is to create the opportunities for people to be able to create the content that they want to create and be as involved as they want, and that's we're not going to, unless it's the sort of situation where particularly a nonprofit organization says that they want a person to, for one reason or another, because of the content they're going to create, they don't want it tied to that membership, and they can get a separate membership. There's no reason for us as an organization to say to our members, yeah, no, we're only going to allow you to make one type of content. That's not why we're here.
Oh.
The goal is for people to, you know, make and create as much as they want and learn as much as they want. It's as someone who is a creative, it's odd for me because I'm the sort of person who likes to learn in order to do, but there's nothing that says someone couldn't come along and say, I want to learn what all the stuff that PCTV does and just keep learning.
I just want to let my control room know I'm going right up until the end, so don't go to PSA. And,
don't interrupt you today?
Yes. No.
It's okay, we can fill that last 15 minutes?
One of the things that I like too is the fact that, and this is very common in disabled situations, I'm just like a normal crew member. I come in, I give an idea, and you say, well, maybe, or talk to this production crew, and talk to the ops team, and see if it's possible.
Yeah.
I want to throw in an extra PSA, so I want to throw in one from the church, or I want to throw in one from this or that or the other thing, and so you're able to say, okay, send out the message, let them know what's going on, we can do it. We ran into a problem with a microphone on one of the shows, and I said, well, we gotta have an extra microphone, good set of batteries on them,
Yeah.
So every show, I've got my crew stepping in and going into the battery room, going into the storage room, pulling a set of batteries,
Yep.
changing them out, even though they may not need to be changed. I'm just changing them anyway. They're just
And with rechargeable batteries, at the time that's taken to switch the batteries out is cheap. The cost of losing a piece of your program because a piece of equipment malfunctioned
Yeah.
is immeasurably uncheap. So change those batteries as often as you want. but to go ahead. Sorry.
One of the things that I'm sorry, man, I shouldn't have done that, but one of the things that I like to say, that little production crew that I gave the staff, gave the crew, I would be doing that all the time in the beginning. But I know we're running close on time, so I just said, we're not going to be there, so, don't bother. But I've grown in different ways to do a production. And one of the ways, and I want you to explain this better than I can because it's faster, and you can explain it in the way that you meant it. With my production experience, and as much time as I work with you, I know what to anticipate. So, I mean, yes, I'm a producer, but I'm able to make decisions like that. Let my production team know, okay, we're not doing this. You can use this camera for this, or you can't use that camera for that, or you're gonna run into trouble with this.
Yeah.
So this is how they,
Well, the goal of all of PCTV's work as an organization is to try and empower people to create the content they want to create using our facilities. Yeah. So it is good to hear that we can help facilitate the creativity for you to be able to do all of those things. And if I can sort of, because you said something earlier that sort of struck a chord in my mind, that the staff and our organization puts a lot of effort into making sure that anybody who comes in is just another part of the team creating content. To the sort of the mission of your show, I can identify a number of times over the years where people have come in and felt, at least as far as like producing TV is concerned, have felt that they have some form of a disability. They may not have had a physical recognizable disability, but they've come in and said, well, there's no way I'll ever be able to do this. There is one individual who I often use as an example, who started on a show as a guest doing poetry, and eventually said it would be really cool to do a show of my own. And but there's no way I'll ever be able to learn how to do it, so I should probably find someone else to do it for me. And we presented to her, no, you can absolutely figure out how to do this. And it took her a year and a half of working at it and wanting to do it and trying hard, and she finally reached the point where she became one of our best video editors. Hands down, I was sending people who were new, who were interested in learning how to edit, to sit with her and watch her edit so they could pick up some tips as they were learning. So I think for us, it's very natural that someone doesn't have the range of capabilities to make a TV show, no matter what. It doesn't matter why. Our job is to help them overcome that particular disability, as it were, and be able to make a TV show.
And because of the pan tilt zoom cameras, because of the, as much as I hate to say it, as the glory of the pan, as the biggest benefit of the pandemic was the invention of two things: pan tilt zoom and the ability to go live on other alternative modes of putting together a TV show, like Zoom and stuff like that.
Well, and the funny thing is, all of those are technologies that were around, but they were technologies that people didn't use or really understand because it didn't come into their day-to-day. The concept of a camera that you could move around with a remote control was kind of, it was either big professional TV magic or a little bit too technical for anyone to wrap their head around. But the need for people to be able to operate in their workspaces and move around a physical workspace and have the camera follow them made pan tilt zoom cameras more common in home life. And Skype and Zoom and all of the other video meeting services have been around for a long time. They've done this job for years and years. I can remember using Skype to do television programming in
my God, do you remember the first time we tried to do a production with Skype? Because we were trying to get, I don't know if people know, but Peter Batista was doing, I forget the name of the show now, but
yeah, so the show he was producing at the time was Ham On.
yes.
That show has ended, and he does a new show called The Talk, which is sort of a pop culture conversation show.
But he and I were trying to, because I lost my co-host.
Yep.
And I was trying to fill a slot that I needed co-host for, and Peter said, yeah, sure, we'll do it, but I can't go in the studio.
So you were using Skype.
Yeah.
Well, it's all of those technologies have been around for ages. We were using Skype at PCTV in 2007 to do video on, it's weird to say an early webcam in 2007, but yeah, they were still relatively new for people at home. And the idea of accessing it and how to use it and how to integrate it was just, there were steps and it was difficult. And the thing that was magical that came out of necessity was Zoom's innovation of, okay, here's a link, you click it and it opens up the software and it does all the connecting, and you don't need to ring a specific phone number or remember an address or go through the process of connecting to someone as a friend on a social media network. You just click the button and there's the person.
But the easiest way to do this, and I want people to know this before I wrap up, but never try to use the free version of Zoom doing a live production, especially for an hour show.
Oh, yeah, no.
Because at 40 minutes, they're gonna say, that's it. You only got 40 minutes, and it's like...
And they'll put a big warning in front of the screen on you. It's very frustrating.
So it's like, I made that mistake a couple times, and you set up a meeting for me, schedule a meeting at a certain time for me, and do the production, and I can't get on because of technical problems on my end, because of physical limitations. So it was just easier to come into the studio and do it that way. But Matt, I must say this in real quick close. In all my years of working with television and being around you guys, nobody is going to accost you or say anything negative about. If you come in just looking around, seeing what the production team is, seeing what the production structure is, and seeing what the physical structure is, and you decide not to do this, that's fine.
Yeah.
You don't have anything to worry about or whatever. I'm talking to the general public out there. They're not going to come in and say, commit you to a certain time frame or something.
I'll tell you just sort of a quick thing before we've got to close the show, is that the biggest thing that I face in my job, and it's been a challenge since I started working here, over 15 years ago, is the fact that despite the fact that we're in people's homes and on people's devices and sharing programming, people will still come into the station and go, I did not know that this was here. And if all you do after watching this show is go, what Brian was talking about sounds neat, I want to go look at it. One more person walks away knowing what's here, that'll make me happy. That would be wonderful.
And I like you. There's times when I've called you and said, I can't do the production because of family situations, or I can't do a training. Nobody's gonna say you can't do your family stuff because of a TV show. As they would in public commercial show. I've called you 20 minutes before the show and said, we've got to put another show on, because I've got to go. But thank you, Matt, for joining us, and joining me in this production, and I look forward to bringing you back in like 3 months and seeing where we are. There's no telling where we're gonna be in 3 months.
That's true.
3 months.
A lot can change in 3 months.
Yeah, and I would, and also real quick, I know I'm running over, guys, but I'm also doing the productions for New Life Community Fellowships. So I'm actually I'm producer of technically 3 shows.
That's really cool.
So you're gonna see a lot of me, and you possibly hear me on the radio at one point again, but the flexibility of the radio is too difficult. So thank you, Matt, for joining us, and I look forward to doing it again sometime soon.
Absolutely. My pleasure. Thank you for having me, Brian.
Thank you. And this has been Brian Fitzpatrick bringing you an episode of Wheeling the Pathway to Life. If you're looking to get a hold of me, you can get a hold of me at Wheeling the Pathway to Life at Gmail. Wheeling the Pathway to Life at gmail.com. That's Wheeling the Pathway to Life at gmail.com. Let me know if you want to hear anything or see any guests or find out about anything such as this, or just what I'm doing on a day-to-day basis so I can incorporate it in my show. Thank you very much for joining us, and we will see you all next week.
You can bury the workman, but the work will go on. You can silence the voices, but you can't stop the song. 'Cause when the spirits move, and His will be done. You can bury the workman, but the work will go on.